And
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Trustee Robert Allen.
Here.
Thank you. So we move to the Pledge of Allegiance, and we wait for Paula to put the flag. All right, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of the
flag
United
of the United
States
States
of
of
America,
America, and to the republic
and
one nation
nation under God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Should mute.
Yeah. Okay, so 4.5 district mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. Moving on to public comments, the portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members might briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter might be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Any public comment? Nobody. Moving on to consent agenda. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff requests specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Is there any changes to the agenda?
There were no changes. Thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion for the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And this is a roll call. President Elkishan is absent. Claire Lopez Jones, aye. Trustee Maxfield,
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez is absent. Trustee Robert Allen.
Aye.
Thank you. We're moving fast here. Moving to action items. The protocol for the action items include a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute limit time limit per person. Item 7.2, board policies and administrative regulations and independent study program proposal. Erin?
Thank you. So these policies are being updated to reflect law. And there are 3 that I needed you to consider tonight and actually approve. Typically, as you're aware, according to our board policy, I bring policies forward for a first read and then for you to consider and revise and then bring them back for a second read. But because of one particular policy, in just a moment I'll talk about, we have to have this approved before actually the first day of school. And I also need to notify parents of it before the first day of school. So for us to wait until next Monday was just too late for us to do that. So the first is BP 12.3. This is just updating the UCP. This happens every year. The California Department of Education makes changes in their policy. So this reflects the latest changes to law. BP 6157, that is actually deleting the entire distance learning policy. That was a policy that was in effect only for the 2020-21 school year. And the state of California has informed districts that we are no longer offering distance learning. So that is why we've removed that policy. And then the third, BPAR 6158, that is a new policy reflecting new law. So the governor has told all school districts that we will offer independent study for any student whose parent deems that they are at risk to return to full in-person school due to health reasons. And so this policy reflects that law. And we are also going to be partnering with the Napa Valley Unified School District to provide our independent study program, because we do not have a program right now. It's unlikely that we will have very many people who are going to opt their children into this program. And the Napa Valley Unified School District has a full program. They're a large district. They are fully staffed. It's been a long-standing program, so I have confidence in it. And it's a win-win for both districts. We do not lose any revenue if our students choose to transfer to this particular program. However, it would also benefit Napa Valley Unified School District because they will be paid for any of our students who opt to transfer into their program. Do you have any questions about that particular policy? It's new to every district in the state.
So is this supposed to replace like parents who have concerns about their kids going back to school because of COVID?
If they feel that there is a risk, yes, they can choose to enroll their child in independent study. So there's going to be a parent Q&A session. I'm going to be sending home a letter this afternoon to parents. It's being held by the Napa Valley Unified School District because there is a big difference between an independent study program and a distance learning program. Independent study is, the bulk of the instruction is placed on the parent. Whereas, before distance learning, we had a teacher for our students who, was doing constant teaching with them. That will not be happening if a parent chooses to pursue independent study. And they will be given the option at any point in time, if they decide that that program is not working for their child, they have the option to return to in-person school. And this does not replace short-term independent study. So this is for parents, again, for long-term, semester-long independent study. So the parent who decides that they're going to take their child out of school for a week for a particular reason, they would still be doing short-term independent study through our school district.
So I do have a question. I was talking to a parent that, is thinking about keeping her child at home. And one of the things that came up when she's, when she hears the term, independent study, is that the program has this, I say, stigma that is for students or children who are underperforming or they need remedial type of interventions. So her concern obviously is, what is the quality of this? Are they using the same curriculum as the standards in the state of California? Is my child going to be at disadvantage just because we're trying to keep him at home safe? So, from your experience in education, what is your opinion on this in terms of the quality of the education that they receive?
No, they are required, school districts are required to still provide instruction that follows the state standards. So materials that, are fully following state standards. I think the only disadvantage would obviously be the social aspect. So a parent, would need to provide that on their own, but I don't have any qualms about recommending the Napa Valley Unified School District program. Like I said, they've done it for years. They have fully credentialed teachers. I think parents also need to understand, though, it is different. The burden is on them to provide that education. They've got somebody to provide the materials, and there will be a small amount of asynchronous and synchronous instruction. So they will be on Zoom at times with the teacher, but not to the extent that they were with distance learning. And Dara, that's disappointing to me that there's the impression that it's for kids who are, there for remedial reasons, because my past experience, there's been times where, just the opposite happens. Parents enroll their kids in, college at the same time, and they're doing independent study. So it is absolutely not just for remediation. It can allow a child at times to accelerate depending on the particular child.
And how is the process going to be? So the students are still going to be enrolled through our school district and transfer to Napa Valley Unified, or do the parents need to go directly to,
Yeah, that's a great question.
Napa?
They are actually going to be placed on an interdistrict agreement.
Okay.
So they are going to be students of Napa Valley Unified School District.
Is the
Have you-
thought, sorry,
Oh.
go ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say, have you been contacted by anybody that's interested in independent study? Has the district been contacted yet?
We have had, the principal said that some parents have asked questions about distance learning and wanted to know their options, but we have not, until we had this meeting. I didn't feel comfortable sending out a letter to parents saying that we were definitely going to be, advertising or offering this. So as soon as we get done with this meeting, we're prepared to send out a parent letter that will introduce the concept. And then we're advising them to participate in this, this Q&A session which is tomorrow night. And then we'll follow up with another letter to them, and we will strongly encourage them to have a meeting with Napa Valley Unified School District. And I think they may require it, that they are going to, the parent will have to meet with them to make sure that they understand that this, what the program's parameters are and whether or not that's really going to be a good fit for their child.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Is the thought being with, I know things are changing. It seems like hour to hour what's happening with COVID, is the thought being that California is really encouraging schools to open full time for this school year?
CDPH is absolutely behind full-time in-person instruction. Yeah, they have not wavered on that at all, Stephanie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then again, the cost, is there going to be any cost for our district, or I'm just want to understand that part?
Yeah, there is no cost. Again, because Napa Valley Unified will actually be getting the ADA from our district, because the students are enrolled in their district, as long as they're attending there. Now, if they choose to re-enroll with us, if it doesn't work out for them after, a semester or a year, then they come back to us, then they would again resume, as our student. It really is a win-win for both districts. It will allow us to serve our kids with a program that, we have faith in, and it also benefits them financially.
Yeah.
And they have actually been in declining enrollment, as I'm sure you've read. They've been closing schools. And so, they're in declining enrollment in all programs, including independent studies. So that's why there is room to take our students. And they've made this offer to all the Up Valley schools, knowing that we are small and it's almost impossible for us to offer the same quality of independent study program with, such a small number of students and with staff.
Okay.
All right.
I'm very grateful, actually, to Dr. Musetti, for her willingness to help serve our students.
Okay, so are there any more questions or comments? Okay, so we need a motion to approve the board policies and administrative regulations as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We are moving on to the favorite part of Jeff's favorite part.
Move we adjourn.
Thank you. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you
what's
all. I
fine.
appreciate that your willingness to meet on such short notice. The timing was important. So
And we'll see everybody on Monday, right?
Monday. Okay.
thank you.
Bye-bye.